thing I would say with space, and it's one of those. You ever see those movies like Interstellar, of course you got Star Wars, Halo, like those
Yeah.
outside stuff. But that would just be weird, like other alternate dimensions, and just imagine being stuck. There's no one out there. You're just kind of constantly floating and floating.
Yeah, and like there's so much space between the planets and shit. It's literally just nothingness, just black.
No,
There's no light probably, like because the light. The reason we can see here because we have stuff for the light to reflect off, but in space,
no, there's. Think about that. I mean, imagine how crazy that would be.
you know
Like
what
you just wake up.
done to it is those sensory deprivation chambers like that Joe Rogan uses. You know what I mean? Where you're just floating
Yeah,
in water, you see nothing, hear nothing, feel nothing. It's silent, dark. Probably what it'd be like, something like that.
man, that would. Ooh.
Yeah, fuck that. No
Yeah.
interest.
So you wouldn't go to space if you could? If someone came to you, hey Justin, you can go to space like in 6 months, would you go?
If the person that said that to me is Elon, yeah, like all right, like you got the commercial, but because like he's trying to make space flight commercial, so like getting on a bus to go to California, get on this shuttle bus, go to the moon, do a drive by the moon, check it out. Oh, that's really cool. And go back home. Yeah, but I assume it's going to be like a 6 month cruise basically, but going to the moon and back or something like that's his scheme with the whole space thing. So I
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Also, like Mars. I mean, speaking of Elon Musk, like going to Mars. You ever seen The Martian? Like that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just they did a great job. Just like, dude, that's like the worst case scenario you could ever be in. Like, big ass storm comes through, your team leaves you,
He's like learning.
everyone thinks you're dead.
Yeah, he's like learning to garden and shit. Like
Yeah,
that
you
was
know.
that was a wild
But
move.
that was a really good one, man. But just imagine that. I I think the leaving Earth part for me, like when you're sitting back and you're taking off.
Yeah.
I think that would be the worst part about it for me, because that's like when everything can go bad.
I mean, yeah, like that's when all the engines are kicking on. That's when everything that can break is turning on and starting to run. So yeah, that would be. And you're laying. It's probably like when you're going on the up tick of the roller coaster. You're just like sitting there, just shaking and hoping that the shit fucking works how it's supposed to. There's nothing you can do at that point. You're just along for the ride.
Well, you got that. Imagine being like not Neil Armstrong,
First guy on the moon,
first guy on the
allegedly.
moon. Yeah, like the first dude, not just particularly the first dude to the moon, but just the first guy in space.
Allegedly, you know what I mean?
Allegedly.
A lot of theories out there.
We're gonna go with that it was, but we're gonna get into that more too,
Yeah.
because I guess like I told you last week, man, I don't believe in conspiracies. There's some of them maybe I kind of do a little bit, but man, I love talking about them. I can talk about them for days. But let's just say they did go to the moon. We'll say that imagine being that first guy, like you're on the moon and you can see Earth from out. Now, if they did, we'll never know probably. I don't know, but I just think that'd be crazy. I'd be the first guy to do that.
Yeah, I
Never
mean,
done that.
I feel like it'd be a curse almost because it's like you go back to Earth and there's no one you can talk to about it. No one understands. Like no one can even come close to understanding. So like, it's like you just have this experience that you can't really relate. Like
Yeah, no one understands you because like no
yeah,
one's done it. Like that.
you can jump 100 feet in the air and you can float and there's less gravity. Like wow, like it sounds cool, but like yeah, I feel like people like if you did that, I feel like so many people hated on him. Like I know people that get hated on around here for like doing nothing. You go to the moon, come back to your hometown, like, like, oh man, like he thinks he's so cool. Oh look at me, I can dunk on the moon, but
It's like, look at this guy. He
yeah,
thinks he goes to fucking moon. He thinks he's better than us. Fuck
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
I
man,
kicked his ass at high school fucking dodgeball, dude.
this dude was a fucking dweeb.
Yeah,
Like
literally,
straight A student.
yeah.
He just goes. He does everything right. He's an straight A. Straight and narrow path man. And then
I,
dude is it one of the fucking moon. I don't know if that's really how it worked with him, but more than likely, you probably were. But
I mean,
nothing wrong with that at all. There really isn't.
it's always been weird to me that like we have this fascination with exploring space, right? And we've put all this fucking money into blasting rockets into space, but we haven't even explored like what, like 60-50% of our own oceans. Like, why the fuck do we not care what's down at the bottom of those motherfuckers? Like, put some research in making some submarines that won't crush like soda cans that are empty whenever you get down to that pressurized deep part, and see what's down there. We don't, that Cloverfield shit, as far as I'm concerned. If a big ass praying mantis crawled out of the New York water and started stomping on the city, I'd be like, wait, well, shit, like it was down there the whole time. Like, fuck, we never know because y'all were worried about Mars and shit. You don't even know what's in our own damn planet.
What do you think is in the bottom of the ocean?
Uh, Mythical creatures, big ass
You,
creatures.
you think like megalodons and shit like that? Like, the big ass sharks?
Yeah, like I think it's like. I think there's probably like another layer to the ocean that has creatures that like probably have adapted to that kind of pressure and can't even probably survive above certain depths or something. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck knows? Like, but like the shit that we've seen, like the stuff they found as they went down there, like those weird ass fish that like naturally
Like,
glow, like LED fish.
yeah.
Yeah, like
They got the little fucking thing going over. Like, I think something like that actually washed up on shore not too long ago.
yeah. Shit,
Um,
who knows what the fuck is down there?
I
And if
mean,
there's aliens, that's where they're camping out. If they're on this planet, that's where they're high. That's where they're popping in out of the ocean. Like you see the UFO videos of these flying discs over the ocean, and all of a sudden they just disappear. That's because they're going down to Atlantis. Atlantis is probably some alien headquarters now. You know what I mean? They just like commandeered it.
dude, you were actually the first person that's ever said that. I've never thought of it like that, and I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, it's not so off the wall that it couldn't be true.
Right.
Like you said, certain percentage of the ocean has not been explored.
It's at least a good movie premise, even if
Yeah.
it's bullshit out of my own head. It's at
Oh
least
yeah. I mean, dude, it's not like I said, man. It is. It makes you think. I mean, so you don't think aliens are real, or do you?
I hold the same viewpoint as a lot of things. Is like I'm open to it. Like I'm not saying they're not real, but if they are real, I'm not surprised. Like I think it's more likely that they are real than they're not, simply because like the way I look at things, I view us as created purposefully by a creator. So that being said, I don't think that creator only created one thing. Like I don't, it makes no sense to me. Why? Like to me, there's probably a lot of planets that have life on them scattered throughout different either galaxies, universes, whatever. Maybe even our own. We don't know. I feel like we're still in the infancy stage of like our own species, our own culture getting developed. Like, but you get into theories like that, like you could say that we might have even gotten to know other planets and shit with Egypt and these pyramids, all that weird shit they can't explain. And then you got the Ice Age, and it's like, okay, reset. Like we had some kind of catastrophic asteroid collision, but before that, we might have had some super advanced civilization and talked to aliens before. Who the fuck knows? That's my thing. Is I don't know. The older I get, the more I like. Growing up, I was taught that Pilgrims and Indians were like best friends, and they taught us how to grow corn, we taught them how to shoot guns, and we all had Thanksgiving together. And then I found out when I'm older, like, hell no, we showed up like Christopher Columbus thought he was in India. Hey, y'all are Indians? They're like, what the fuck is India? And he was like, shut up and teach me how to do shit, or I'm fucking kill everybody. Trail of Tears fucking walked them out of their own land. Here's a casino. Get the fuck out of here. This is our fucking country now. Like, it's ever since like shit. Everything I learned as a kid is like some whitewashed version. Like Jesus even was like this white.
Yeah.
I found out later he was Aramaic. He didn't even speak English. If I seen Jesus, I would think he was like some Middle East
average Joe at Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, something like Middle East. Like I would probably think he was a terrorist before I think he was, the guy that I heard about as a kid, because he was always white, and like it's just like shit like that. You learn the actual facts of things when you're older, and you start looking at how you were told, and it's like, dude, it makes you question everything. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, my story for the pyramids is that slaves built them with rusty axes and shit, but yet the older I get and the more stuff I watch about them, how perfectly symmetrical they are, and like how even today with today's technology, it would be fucking almost impossible to create some of the stuff that they made and some of those, ancient marvels like the pyramids and shit. So it's like, how the fuck did that shit really get there? Like,
that is, I mean, you raised a lot of good points, man. And the way you think about that, just how you think about everything. I mean, there's nothing like that is not a bad way to think about things. You keep an open mind, and I think that's honestly one of the best ways to live in a way. Like you're not easily like if someone you're not so dead set like man I'm right, and I don't think you could be like that. You leave room for compromise. Like hey
Yeah.
man I'm willing to I might be wrong so I'm letting you tell me hey this is how it is and I can make my own judgment after that. And you allow people to do that and that's not a bad thing at all.
A
So,
lot of that mindset I adopted when I was in college. I got a psychology degree, and I started reading Socrates, and like Socrates writing, he talks a lot about what he calls the state of aporia. I've heard other people call it aporia. I don't know what the actual Greek
mhm.
pronunciation is, but it's Aporia, and essentially it roughly translates into enlightened ignorance.
Mhm.
So to him, not knowing makes you wiser than somebody who thinks they know so much. They're 100% cemented in their opinion, but they're wrong and it can change. Like, think about eggs. Like, in just our lifetime, it's been super healthy to eat eggs. It's been fucking, you get cancer if you eat them. It's only eat the
Yeah.
yellow part, only eat the white part. You know, gravity. Isaac Newton was right about gravity for a couple hundred years, but then Einstein came and changed it. Like, you have to be you have to be flexible. You can't like concrete yourself to certain truths and deny everything else and call everything else crazy. That's how you get like a Karen, like these people that like they're like on the internet like going crazy about stuff and talking about the law and things like that as if they actually have any kind of knowledge versus a trained police officer or even a lawyer. In some case I've seen them argue with, it's just like people think that they know, and to me there's an important line between belief and knowledge. Even when people talk about like religion, some people tell you I know X, Y, and Z happens when I die. Like, I'll tell you I believe X, Y, and Z will happen, but I can't tell you I know because nobody knows. You don't
No.
know until it happens. So like, but the way people speak, those knowledge and belief, they don't really draw that line. But to me, I like to put it there. Like, and so if somebody doesn't have it, I like to just question them. And like when I conversate with people, I really don't like to have a strong opinion. I'm usually just poking their opinion. Like, oh, okay, like, do you believe this? Like, how much have you really thought about it? Because in the 30 seconds I'm going to think about it, I'm going to ask you some stuff. And if you've never thought about it for yourself, I'll be able to tell because you won't be able to even respond or react. You'll be sitting there thinking for the first time about whatever I asked you. People, it's just like you got to be careful. It's so easy these days to read a headline and think that you
Oh,
know like the whole
uh,
story and then go about preaching it.
like those little soundbite clips they put out.
Yeah,
Like they'll put like a misleading headline and they'll put like a little 10 seconds and people take it out of context. And no one bothers to read the articles.
yeah.
They'll say in the article may make that person look like the worst scumbag, since Stalin. I don't know. But
Mhm.
then you read the actual article and then you're like, okay. And
There's a
so
lot more to
yeah,
this.
there's a lot more to the story than it is just a 5-word headline and a 10-second snippet. There's more to it than that, and but yeah, man, I think it's awesome to have an open mind on things. Let other people make influences on you, and then you at the end of the day you got to make those judgments. Hey, is this right for me or is it not? So I think that's a really good thing. Now, when you said psychology, so what else did you really learn in that? To like, if you could share with.
Well, I'll tell you my favorite thing. Like, this is gonna be like a segment probably. You can like
Hey,
start make you a point right here because this is a wild ass story. But this
go
story
ahead, man.
the whole time. This was from a forensic psychology class I took, and it was about eyewitness testimony and the dangers of it and how like it's really not super accurate. There's two stories. I'll start with the first one. This lady, middle-aged white lady in the middle of the day, I believe she was in like her like mid to late 30s. Guy breaks in her house, rapes her in her own bedroom in the middle of the day, comes through her bedroom window, takes her on the bed. She looks him right in the eyes and everything in the daylight, sees him plain as day. Goes to the cops immediately right after, calls the cops, blah, blah. They get a lineup together. And out of the six dudes, like pretty much as soon as she sees them, she's like hysterically crying, points at number four. That's him, number four. I'm 100% sure, it just happened, blah, blah. So they toss the other lineup guys out, lock on number 4, get to the trial. On the lead up to the trial, they check all the evidence. They check the room. They check him, his alibi, everything. They got no evidence on this guy. Nothing that she's saying really adds up. But he doesn't have like a solid like proof he was anywhere else either. So it's kind of just up in the air. But this lady cried in court, told the jury this story about how she looked him right in his eyes. It was the middle of the day, blah blah blah, and she made sure to remember the details of his face so she could get justice if nothing else, because she knew in the moment she was helpless, but in the post event she'd be able to get retribution. All this shit gets him locked up. They find him guilty. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He does like, I can't remember how many years. At least it was 10, 15 years, something like that.
Damn.
Gets out later due to DNA evidence. Another guy is bragging about, in the same jail, is bragging about, yeah, he's doing my sentence too. I got a life sentence and he's doing mine. I raped this girl, and they, me and him look alike, like brothers, so they thought it was her. So he starts like telling his lawyer this, and they this is like early 70s or something like that. And whenever DNA testing came around was like 10, 15 years into his sentence. And so they ended up getting that guy subpoenaed for a test for talking all that stuff. Come to find out it was him, matched the samples they still had from the case from back in the day. And then he gets out. And the craziest part about the whole story to me is that guy and that woman that falsely accused him go on to write a book together and then go on tours together and talk about eyewitness testimony and talk about their story and try to make the justice system better by sharing what happened to them.
Wow. And where did you hear this? Where was this?
This was in that forensic psychology class.
Oh, wow.
Like, such a weird story, but like that's like one example. But the main story, the craziest one, like this was in Texas. I don't remember the town, but I'm sure you could find it with enough Googling. But this guy's a police officer and a deacon in this town, right? I assume it's like the town we're from, like an Elkview type of town, like small town. This guy knows everybody. He's a cop. He's a deacon. He's a whatever. And he's got 2 daughters. One's like in her early 20s. Her name's Julie, and then the younger one, I can't remember, like 17 or something. But his daughter goes to see this like gypsy fortune teller type of person, and she's like learning about her future, and she's like learning about horoscope type stuff, all that stuff. Well, when she's getting her readings done, this fortune teller girl tells her, hey, what was it like, or what age were you when you were molested by your dad? She was like, I was never molested by my dad. Like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, no, you definitely have sexual abuse and trauma in your past, by your father. Like, it's clear as day in these readings, blah, blah. And she's like, you're crazy. Like, my dad's like a good guy, that never happened. But then she has her go through these exercises every time they visit each other. And she calls it like a mental exercise where she says, imagine what it would have been like if you did get molested or raped by your dad. And just like imagine every detail of it and see if it sparks any memory, because you have repressed memories, because this definitely happened to you. And she does this long enough to where this Julie girl all of a sudden like magically remembers, oh shit, like not only did my dad molest me, but he molested me and my little sister, and they had these satanic rituals at my house, and we used to sacrifice babies, and like, oh my gosh, like I've unlocked all these memories, right? Goes to her sister with all this shit, convinces her sister that it's real. So her sister's on board, and then her and her sister turn her dad in. So like his cops are like, what the hell? Like, so they lock him up. He's not allowed to talk to his family. He's only allowed to talk to his lawyer and the like church preacher and the like main sheriff of the town or whatever. That's like his boss or whatever. And so the forensic evidence guy goes and starts checking for all this stuff, because the girls checked for markings for past abuse and all this stuff. Checks for like missing babies in the area during these time frames, because allegedly there was baby sacrifices at these things, and they gave specific dates. They said Thanksgiving and all this shit. They gave dates. And like, so in the time that this guy is in solitary confinement, the preacher's telling him, you did this, like you got possessed by the devil, you got possessed by a demon or something, you did this stuff, you need to confess to being guilty and accept it. And the forensic detective guy who's doing all the tests on the girl and the house, they're digging up the yard looking for baby skeletons that are allegedly buried back there according to these girls and all that. Forensic guy comes back and says, this shit is a joke. There's no evidence of any of this. And not only that, he has strong alibis. He wasn't even in town on some of these dates that these girls are saying. He was at business trips. We got flight records and everything else. Like, the shit is made up. But in the time that it had taken him to come to this conclusion, that guy had got so crazy in jail, being in with this preacher and being in solitary and all this stuff. He pled guilty. He said that he did it. So like, he ends up going to prison for all this stuff.
Oh.
And then like years later, trying to like recant his guilty testimony and, undo all. But it was just an absolute mess. And it's just the power of the mind and the power of like we're talking about, the core of this conversation. What led me here, being so convinced of something that's not true at all. But the power of being convinced, collective ignorance is a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh my God.
Like there's a group of people that until yesterday really thought that Logan Paul could knock out Floyd Mayweather. Fucking hundreds of thousands of people was like, oh yeah, like he's 30 pounds over him. He's about, no. You know what I mean? Floyd's knocking him out and like holding him up with his shoulder. Like, don't worry, I'll keep you standing. Like, it's just, that's why I am the way I am, is because it's gross to me when people are that confident and that like violently passionate about their opinion. If it's not their own subjective experience, like some kind of truth like that, but if it's something that you actually don't know about and you're talking about it like preaching about it almost like as if it's gospel, it's like, it makes no sense. But people believe their own shit. Like, it's just wild.
Man, that's the bad thing about social media these days. It gives, and I believe in freedom of speech. I believe, whatever you want to say, but that doesn't mean there's not repercussions for those.
Right.
But what social media does now is it gives a voice to those people that have asinine opinions, just off the wall shit, crazy stuff. And like I said, if you want to believe that, that's completely fine. But that's the day and age that we live in when it comes to that. I don't think we had that big of a problem back, maybe in the 90s or 2000s, whatever. But man, social media is really fucking drug that through the mud.
Yeah, to me, the dangerous thing about social media is like the loudest people are, what a bell curve is, like an average. Mm-hmm. So you have your average, everyone, like 80% of people are here together in this big mountain in the middle. And then on the tail end of the downslopes of that mountain, way out here in the little fucking edges, are all these people that are on the far left and far right and like extremists about these issues, but they're the loudest. So like this little end of the tail end of the thing might be, 1% of the population, but they're fucking 40% of like Twitter volume, because they're like all pumping the same message, and they just control social media so well with their collective like synchronicity on what they're saying and what they want, or whoever they're trying to attack and cancel or whatever the case may be, that people see this strong social media outpouring for whatever it is, for canceling somebody, for some kind of truth, for UFOs or whatever, and they think that is like, they take that as mainstream acceptance by the world, as if me and you agree to something because it's trending on Twitter or whatever. But people don't understand that like a lot of people don't, even still to this day, don't post a lot of content. A lot of people are just consumers of social media. Like, and those people aren't speaking up. So like, just because certain narratives dominate social media, that's only the people that are talking. You know what I mean? A lot of people are on social media not talking. Like,
oh yeah, probably I would say a good majority of them. Probably, yeah. They might post something every now and then, but yeah, they're, for the most part, yes, they are pretty well silent.
Yeah, a picture of their kids or their family or something like that. They're not posting anything like that's like making headlines or whatever, but they're all there. And that's another reason that causes all these problems, is because like everyone is on like social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So like all these news companies are all on there. They want you to click their article, but there's only so much shit going on. So you'll see an article that says something like, police shoot Puerto Rican man at the gas station, right? And so you got to click on, oh God, another fucking injustice, who's going to riot now? But then you read the article and it's like, oh, the Puerto Rican guy had a chainsaw and he was fucking like chasing some dude through the parking lot. So it's like
clickbait. It kind of goes into like a clickbait type thing. Like, hey, the headline is flashy. It gets people to click it just for something with that, or wherever the story is.
What they want is, they want those people that are strongly opinionated to get on both sides. This side defend the cop, this side defend the person that got shot, argue in the comments, click on the video and watch it. They need engagement because engagement is money. So media companies and all these journalists and people literally monetize us fighting online and turn into money for them. They don't give a fuck about the issue. That's why they lie about it, paint it whatever fucking way is going to get the most views.
Oh, dude.
Nothing's about reporting the news or the truth. It's about getting clicks, keeping the advertisers happy, keeping people's eyes glued. Whatever we got to say or do, or whoever we got to throw under the bus, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, everybody's just trying to get money. That's really all it is.
Do you think something like that gets better in time?
Oh yeah, it's already getting better because now that like what you're doing right now, this is a revolution. Like the printing press was one revolution. It took writing and like reading to the next level. This is taking content. I don't want to say content. This is taking like conversation as a society to the next level because now, like, not that many people can read or like to sit down and read a book, but a lot of people can listen and watch. So now you haven't, like, it's shown that there's an appetite for these long form conversations. People like Joe Rogan who have like 3-hour podcasts and millions of views, hundreds of millions of downloads. It's showing that whole cookie cutter style of TV where an interview is only like 5 minutes and it's sandwiched between all these commercials and all this other dumb shit. You can't really have any intelligent, fleshed out conversation that way. It's all just fake, and it's become so fake that like it doesn't mean anything. It's scripted. It's, this is what people tune into now is people want to see people like them they can relate to talking about issues and talking about things, and it's not scripted. It's off the top. It's live. It's honesty. It's not. It's genuine, so people grab onto it, and there's so many people now that can have their own outlet and their own space to talk that we don't have to go to Fox News and CNN for the news. We can go to Joe Schmo on YouTube or whoever the fuck, like Ben Shapiro, whatever. Like, and same thing with any issue. There's somebody with an outlet now, YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever, talking about your issue or a group on Reddit. There's ways now, so that takes the power away from mainstream media. They don't control all the narratives anymore because we're all connected now, and we can figure out and research for ourselves what the truth is. We don't have to take what they say.
But would you say that makes the media worse off because of that? I mean, we have so many different ways to consume to get news. It used to be, if you go back to, I'm just going to say 1980, okay?
Yeah.
You only had a certain few news networks. Nothing was 24 hour. Nowadays everything's 24 hours. So now these news, you have Fox, MSNBC, CNN, all running news all day long. So these stories, however you were pointing out, some of these asinine stories, and they have to, put it out there because it's 24-hour news cycle. You got to find something, and they run with it, whatever it is. But I think that's how you pointed out. I think that these type of media, people want that. It gets straight to the point. It's not biased per se. Some people are biased with their views, but a lot of these, like Joe Rogan, is not very a biased guy. He's straight down the middle, and he's not biased towards one little thing. But yeah, I think one day it will get better. But social media itself is a completely different problem, I would say, with that.
I think it's each person's individual responsibility to make it better because, like, to me, anything worth having is like a little bit hard to get. Nothing comes that easy, right? And that goes for knowledge and wisdom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to know the truth about something, you have to take in multiple sources of information. Like the truth about some situation that happens. You watch Fox, you get one side. You watch CNN, you get one side. You watch whoever on YouTube, some independent channel, you get another side. But the truth is somewhere in the middle. The truth is all sides of that coin. It's not just one piece of it. So anything you want to know about, you have to learn from multiple sources and keep open mind. And that's how I think, because I know people that are locked into one narrative and that's what they believe and that's what they hold on to and defend. Even if they find out it's wrong, they don't care. It's just like, if it's wrong, it's fake news. It's a conspiracy. It's, whatever. And that's,
I mean, I got it, man. You hear that so much. You used to hear it a lot, but I mean, dude, that's just crazy. Me personally, with social media, well, I think that's a lot of the problem. But as you said, it's up to every individual person they have to control their own selves with that. You can't, after you get a certain age, I don't think that someone should have social media at like an 8, 10, 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I could not imagine being 12 years old and having access to every single thing in the world. You literally could take your own phone and you could look up anything you wanted.
I can try to talk to any celebrity I want. I can
Yeah,
send any DM or picture to whoever. Like,
yeah,
yeah, and it's saving them. Like, you look at how many stars have been ruined by something they said 10, 15 years ago and some tweet. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
Uh,
like you give kids power at that age, they're going to do stuff they severely regret when they're older because they didn't know any better. They shouldn't have even been able to have access to speak to the world at 12.
Well, you touch on that a little bit too. Is you say something. What if you send something? Think about that. I mean, it, it happens. I've heard people that's our age that have kids, I guess around that age, and it's happened. And that's another problem. Yes, for a boy it's pretty nice. I guess you can look up porn whenever you want without your parents knowing. But I don't think it's right for someone that age. That's a lot of responsibility for someone that age. But hey, I don't have a kid, so
Same, yeah.
I'm not here to say, hey, your kid should be on social media. That's up to you. That's your kid.
Yeah,
But
just be careful with kids and devices and the access you're giving them. Like, I remember Jack Black. I can't remember what show it was. It might have been Ellen or the late night or something. But
mhm.
he was talking about his kid bought like $5,000 worth of like bags of crystals on some app game. Yeah, and he had no idea just because he had his card on there and the kid didn't know. He just like kept buying like the big bag of jewels. He was like, next thing I know, I got $5,000 worth of big bags of jewels. I was like, what the? Like,
Damn.
yeah.
Hey man, imagine. Oh my God, I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
I
like,
would be pissed.
yeah, you can't.
Man.
But these kids, man, they know how to use these devices. I remember my nephew couldn't even read or write. He would go on the iPhone and he'd poke the YouTube button and he'd poke the little microphone button and he would just say Sonic. He knew how to say Sonic, and that's all he had to say to get Sonic the Hedgehog videos. And he could do that shit before he could even read or write. It's, you know what I mean? These kids, they grew up with this shit. These
Dude,
little tablets and devices, it's nothing to them.
no, and that's there was if you give a kid a tablet, more than likely, and they know how to unlock it, they know how to get straight to YouTube and this and that. But if you show them, they don't know how to do anything else on there, but they damn know to go to YouTube and this and that. But I mean, I think it's not all bad if you're a kid these days, I guess.
No.
I mean, I think, you have all this knowledge at your fingertips. Like you could literally look up anything you wanted, and yes, there is negative aspects to that, but there are some positives to that. You could look up whatever you wanted. If you want to study on World War II, you can look that up. You can go down that rabbit hole on Wikipedia all day. And that's what's pretty nice though.
And the same vein as technology can be bad, it can be an amazing thing for kids too. You look at somebody like Ryan's World. I don't know if you're familiar with Ryan's World. It's a kid on YouTube that is like uber famous, millions of views, millions of subscribers. He's got his own toy line at Walmart now. And all it is his parents realize, okay, we got a cute kid. He likes to play with toys and open them. He's got a funny personality. Like, let's video him like opening toys and playing with them and shit, and like doing like toy opening videos.
Yeah.
Take him to Toys R Us and video him getting excited and opening shit. That catches on. That turns into toy companies sending him toys and be like, hey, do a video review of this new Jurassic Park mask. And then him and his mom does a little dinosaur hunt video, and they put on the mask, and then they plug the product. Next thing you know, this kid's a millionaire. He's like 7 years old, and all he does is play with toys on video. If you got a kid who's good at the drums, you get them playing a couple songs, put it online, the right person sees it. You got another Mason Ramsey, the kid's yodeling at Walmart and bum, you know what I mean? And then 2 months later, he's at Coachella with hundreds of thousands of people singing his stupid ass song. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. It's the power of like popularity. And if your kid is cute and funny enough to be popular, then shit, you can take technology and he might not have to work a day in his life.
There was one too, a kid, they just, I guess, just sold their video. It was the old Charlie, he bit my finger. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was one of the very first videos on YouTube that went viral.
Yeah.
And they made, I don't know how much money they made off of it, but their kids now are probably like 16, 17 years old or something like that. But yeah, man, it's, you kid, it could be a meme, you know, it can happen, you know, but man, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I wouldn't want to be a parent these days. That's just me. But
Yeah.
hey, good luck to anyone that does. You know, hopefully the parents that grew up with social media though, before we move on from this, is I hope they learn their lessons and they can teach their kids, because I think what also happened was too that when beginning of last decade, those parents did not grow up with internet, you know, social media, Facebook, MySpace, whatever. And their parents had no way to regulate it, no idea what the kids were doing. And nowadays, I think parents are more inclined to know what's going on. I think that is a positive in the right direction. But yeah, man, before we do get off here and everything, tell me about your card business you got going on. I want to hear about it. We talked everything around it, but
Yeah.
I want to hear about it. So
So you start back to June 2019. That's when Cody Morris and I really decided to take a chance on it. The card game back then, it was just starting to heat up. Like there was like a couple people we knew that were into cards, but at this point, you could go to Walmart any given day. All the basketball, football, Pokemon, everything's fully stocked. We used to go after lunch. How it started is we would go after lunch because we had a Walmart near our office, and we'd get pretty good lunch breaks. We'd go there, open a pack of cards while we ate lunch. Some basketball one day, Pokemon one day, whatever, just chasing rare stuff. It's like doing a scratch-off ticket. To anybody who's not in the card game, when you open a pack of cards, essentially what you're doing is gambling. Unless you're going to play the game like Pokemon, sports cards, there is no game. It's just gambling. You're hoping that you get one really rare good card out of this pack that redeems the value of the pack for you, right? But we used to go open them after lunch or whatever, and then like we started hearing about these things called breaks. Like, what is this? What is a break? And essentially, you know, you have the retail stuff at Walmart. The most expensive box you can find at a Walmart is like $50-$60, which you can't even get at Walmart now, but that's later in the story. But that's retail tier of collecting, and then there's what's called hobby boxes, and this is something you can only get online or at like an actual licensed, you know, sports card store if you have one in your area, which not many exist anymore. Well, actually, a lot have started now, but when at 2019 we didn't even have really any around here except for one. But those hobby boxes, what happens is people will sell them by the team. So let's say I got an NBA hobby box, and I have, you know, all 30 teams listed, and you want to buy the Lakers for $50. Well, you get the Lakers, and when we open that box, any card we pull that's from the Lakers, you get that card. So you're buying the team hoping that I pull some kind of like LeBron James, and it's serial number like only 5 in the world, only 1 in the world. You know, there's all types of different rare stuff. There's autographs, there's pieces of their jerseys, there's all types of things that make them valuable. And the company Panini that has the exclusive rights is really smart, and they know how to make things, you know, little minor changes to the color or whatever, some kind of overlay, and then it's a whole new card. It's a whole new parallel, as you will. But at this point in time, we decided, like, all right, let's get some of these hobbies, let's get some of this retail stuff, and let's actually put together a Facebook page and see if we can get people in this with us, because we like doing it. We'll see how many people like it. And then a year later, we got 1,100 members. You know, we broke hundreds of, I mean, not profit, but in the first year, we did over $150,000 worth of business. Like, that much money, boxes, everything changed through our hands between the two of us. Like, it was unbelievable. And, you know, but during that time was exponential rocket ship growth. I mean, the hobby did nothing but go straight up. It was the same boxes. We used to get them by the case. There's a box called Select, NBA Select Hobby Box from 2018 and 19, right? It's like Luka and Trey Young is on the Hawks right now in the playoffs, destroying everybody. Kid that was supposed to be too little. Most VU fans got a sore spot, you know, for Trey.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's out there going crazy. Those boxes, we used to get those boxes for $300 a piece. Now that same box is like $3,000. So you imagine we used to get boxes of 30 of them. So if we would have just held them and not opened them back then, we would have made way more money right now. But we didn't know, and nobody knew the kind of growth it was going to have. So the NBA, the Pokemon, the football, we eventually got into all of it. To this day, I still mess with basketball. Now I'm into UFC more than I was because they got bought by Panini, the same company that does NBA. So UFC cards, NBA cards, Funkos, like, you get little Funkos like this. Like,
okay.
This little Hot Topic exclusive, right? It's like, this is just carnage. This is like, $8-9 at the store or whatever. But aftermarket, 15, 20, 25, something like that whenever they're these store exclusives because they're shorter print runs. Same thing as cards. And there's like all types of different stores that have their own stuff, like this, only at Target. Every store has their own sticker. Every store has their own different things. You'll see glow in the dark. You'll see ones that are called flocked, where they're like kind of fuzzy feeling. Just collectibles is just it's a really interesting market. Like, everything is the same. There's an underlying structure. It's supply and demand. If there's less of them, if it's a shorter print, then the more value it is. That seems to be the rule of thumb across the board.
Okay.
But I flipped collectibles. It's not even about collectibles. It's if you're just about really understanding like supply and demand. Like favorite money I've ever made. Not a lot of money, but favorite money I've ever made.
You just have a lot of fun with it. At the end of the day, you just have fun.
Well, not the cards is not what I'm saying is my favorite money. I'm about to tell you my favorite money I've ever made because it shows the point of like supply and demand. It's not about the cards. It's not about the Funkos. It's about understanding supply and demand at the end of the day. Because like 2 years ago, the person I was with had an obsession with like Christmas tree cakes, like her and her kids like loved them, like, but they're only available around Christmas, right? Little white tree cakes, green sprinkles, red little whatever. Well,
sounds good right now.
Yeah, like they're great, right? Well, the week before Christmas or so, we're at the store and she gets like 10 bucks. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, she's like, no, like at the first week of January, they stopped making them and you can't get them anymore. So the first thing I thought of, I was like, damn, what if other people start fiending for them in January and like pay a lot for them? So they're $2 a box at the store, right? I bought 10 boxes just as a test, just to see what would happen. I bought 10 boxes, put them on eBay, sold every one of them for $10 a box. That's 5x profit on Christmas tree cakes. So I made 50 bucks on Christmas tree cakes. And I did that in 2 days. I mean, I just put them online and sold them. I would have bought 100 boxes if I knew it was going to work. I didn't really think it was going to work. But that's how it is, like supply and demand. Like Twinkies at one point were like $2,000 a box on eBay when everybody thought they were going out of business and weren't going to be made anymore. It's like the world's last Twinkie, It's like, it's amazing how value fluctuates on things.
Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff, man. So it was out of so you do sports and you do Pokemon. What are the two best cards from those that you've like value-wise that you've got?
That I have right now or that I've ever
had? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So basketball is easy, and this is overall the most valuable card I've ever had. It's on YouTube, actually. It's me and my little cousin Seth and our friend Jake are at my kitchen table, absolutely plastered. Jake is opening a pack. He can't get it open, and he bites it with his mouth and tears it open, which is like absolutely like terrible in the card culture. It's like unprofessional. Like you should never open a pack like that. And Seth is in the back. Seth is in the back with a Black & Decker drill, and he's like shooting it off like just for hype. It's the dumbest video, but like during that video, I'm just drunk as shit opening these packs. Jake rips open that pack, and in that pack is a card. It's called LeBron James Color Blast. The box is a 2019-20 Spectra first off the line, and it's this card called LeBron James Color Blast. I had the first one in the world. Like, at the time, this was a brand new box and a brand new card, And at the time, I had the first one, so I posted in some of the Facebook groups around, like asking people, "Hey, like, what do you think? Like, what am I looking at value wise here? I don't know what to
Yeah.
sell. Like, should I get a grade? What should I do?" Well, I heard everything from it's like 1 or 2 thousand to it's 10,000. So I was like, well, shit, like I don't know. So I put it on eBay for 10 grand or best offer, just like seeing what kind of offers I got. And I was like, I'll just play the field and see what happens.
Yeah.
This one guy kept messaging me, bro. I'll give you 5,500 straight up, like message me on Instagram. I'll give it to you right on PayPal. We'll skip the eBay fees and everything, blah blah. So the highest offers I got on eBay was like 5,000 even. So this guy was offering 500 more than my top offer, and he was going to do it off eBay, so I don't have to eat the fees. I just get straight up 5,500. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll do it. So I sent it to him, $5,500 off the one card. The box was $1,000, but that's not the only card that came in it. But that alone, way paid for the box. So I'm feeling on cloud nine, thinking $5,500. You know what I mean? I made $4,000. Like that's insane. Well, couple months later, like the first one that somebody was sent off to get graded back, and they got a 10, $30,000.
30,000.
Yeah, 30K. So if I would have sent it to get graded for like $20 and then got a 10, now I don't know that mine was a 10, might have been a 9 and whatever. But if it was a 10, could have made 30 bands, could have paid my truck off, or could have paid like it was something crazy off like. Could have bought a truck, whatever. Like, could have bought a bike. Like,
holy shit!
It's just wild to think about. But that's the thing, bro. Like, me and Cody had a professor at State that knew Cody, and he hit us up, wanted us to like evaluate his collection type of thing. And he was wanting us to check football and baseball, and Cody was like looking through his shit with him. We went to his house, and I was like, "Do you have any basketball? Like, I don't really like mess with football or baseball." Like, he's like, "Oh, only basketball. I got this one binder." Like. He gets his binder out, and it's the complete 86 Fleer set, which is Jordan's rookie year. It's like his iconic rookie card, the 86 Fleer Jordan. Is
yeah.
Staple. So we're like, oh my god, dude, this is a clean Jordan. Like this is nice. Like, so we talked him into sending 5 cards with us, and that set also had stickers with it. So we sent the Jordan rookie and the Jordan sticker, and all these cards got graded for like $20-$30 a piece, something like that back then. And when we got it back, he got a 9 on that Jordan rookie, PSA 9, and he sold it for 18 grand. 18 grand, pay for like, I mean, so much shit in his life that he had just sitting under his stairs. He had no idea.
So if you don't mind me asking, what does that grading, like, what exactly does it do? Is it just something that you send off and they kind of just look it over, like quality, or just?
It's not so much that. I think I have one right here. So the grading, essentially there's 2 main companies that do it. One's called PSA, one's called Beckett. And what they do is take the card and they rate a couple things about it. One thing is the condition. If the card has, I'm trying to get this sticker off of this one in the background is what I'm doing with my body for anybody who's watching this. I'm just not tearing the sticker off, okay? So they grade the condition of the card, like the corners, the edges. Is it bent? Is there any like residue on the front of it? Is there fingerprints on it? They check all that kind of stuff, right? And then they check. So this is a PSA 10 slab right here, right? They give it a grade. They give it a grade 1 to 10. So that's the 10 right there, and they say Gem Mint 10 on it. Tell you the year, the card, all that. So you can see like front and back in the case that it's, all the corners are clean, the back is clean, it's in perfect condition. They judge the manufacturer for like centering. So if this person is too far to the right or left in the middle, or if some of the words are off center, all that kind of stuff can get you a bad grade. I've had bad grades for autographs. Some there's 2 types of autographs. One autograph is the player actually signs the card itself. It's called on card, and then there's sticker autographs where they mail some 80-year-old NBA veteran a sheet of 100 stickers, and that dude signs all 100 stickers and mails them back, and then they slap them on some card with his picture on it. You know what I mean? And that's a lot less. So there's that, but like sticker centering, that's another thing. But yeah, so you get these cards graded, and what it does is it adds another value of scarcity, and it adds a whole another layer to the collector game, because let's say this card right here, there might be 200,000 of these just in the world, right? As far as Panini printed that many. Well, graded as a PSA 10, all of a sudden now I have the leg room to stand and say, hey, yeah, you got a John Morant Phoenix rookie, but I have a PSA 10 John Morant Phoenix rookie, and there's only 50 10s or whatever, because those populations are public knowledge that you can look up any card's population and see
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
how many 10s, how many 9s, how many 8s. Yeah. So like if there's 5 of a card in the world and you get a 10, you might have the only 10 in the world, and you most likely do, because one, not all the wax gets opened in these boxes. So like, you might get I've got out of 5s that I have PSA 10s of, that I have the only one, not only is a 10, but the only one at all. There's no other ones out there because nobody's opened one yet. So sometimes you have cards like that you control the value on in the market. You have the only one.
Damn, that's.
I pulled an Israel Ayasanda 1/1 autograph. I had that, and like it was just value wise, it's up to me. I have the only one. It was whatever I decided it was worth. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Dude, that's pretty neat though. I really did not know that about the the grading scales and everything like that. That's pretty neat. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's a gamble in itself. Just like opening the packs is a gamble. We've sent orders of 500 cards to get graded, and you might get 310s back, and then you'll make your money on those. But the ones you get like 8s and below, like a PSA 8 is worth less than just like a raw card, because like people only want raw 9s or 10s. Anything lower, it's like might as well just be raw or have a dent or be ripped in half or something. You know what I mean? People don't care at all.
Man, I have like I think total of 4 cards. I have a like a Matt Ryan one. Let me see. Hold on one second. So it's like I got a Michael Vick, I got a Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
And a Calvin Ridley. So those are the only cards that I have to my possession. So I don't know what they're worth. I don't know, but
the way that the rule of thumb in the culture to comp value is to look up a card on eBay, go to the filter, go to sold, and then look at the sold items, and then the average of the last 3. That's usually the rule of thumb. So like if you're at a card show and you want to value something, you find it on eBay, check the last 3 out, get the average value in the middle. That's the starting point. It's more or less that. But there's other sites that you have to go to sometimes, because like eBay won't show you if there's a best offer accepted. So like if I listed this card for $1,000 on eBay and somebody offered me 800 and I accepted it, you would see on eBay $1,000 with a line through it, and it would say best offer accepted, but it wouldn't tell you the real total. But there's sites like 130point.com and watchcount.com that you can just go, and it will tell you what the offer that was sent and accepted was. I don't know how they know, but they do.
Man, that's pretty neat stuff. Like I said, man, I never knew that.
It's a lot to it, yeah. But I mean, just like anything else, you put the time in. If you have like a passion for it and you're interested in it, it'll come natural. You'll learn the language of the lingo, the culture. And
what about a Pokemon card? What's the best one on that one?
Best one I have or I've ever had, like I have a first edition Shadowless Mewtwo, right? So like a perfect one of that, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars for a PSA 10. But mine is heavily played, not a lot of value. So my most valuable card probably is honestly this old, I had like a $600 Hitmonchan. It's a Japanese PSA 10 Hitmonchan, and I got it. I won it in a Raz. You know what a Raz is? It's like it's a part of the card culture in a lot of these groups. It's essentially a raffle at a high school. You got to roll with tickets. Everybody buys a ticket. One random person gets it. Essentially the same thing, but online. So let's say I was gonna sell this card for $100. I did 100 spots at $1 a piece, right? You bought a spot, and 99 other people bought a spot, and after I get paid on my money, I take that list and run it through a randomizer, which is like randomizer.org, a site that just shuffles lists up for you, basically. Run that list through a randomizer. Whoever has the number 1 spot after it gets randomized, they win. So they get this card for $1 shipped, and everybody else just gets nothing and loses $1. So that's how you crowd pool funding to do stuff like that. And so this Hitmonchan, it was one of those situations. It was like 300 spots at $2 a piece. And just like when I play roulette, I only play 17. So like that's my go-to number. So that I played 17, I won that Hitmonchan for $2, and they sent it to me. And it's the last one on eBay sold for like 600 or something. So yeah, it's just a really weird, rare old Hitmonchan that like came with one of the games back in the day, like or some shit. I really don't even know, but
man, the one card I always wanted was I always wanted Charizard. I never got me a Charizard, man. Like that was I always thought that would be one of the cards that would be more expensive.
Did you see Logan Paul's Charizard last night?
No, I did not.
Logan Paul came out to his fight with a big iced out Beckett 9.5 Charizard. It's like a $150,000 card. Like the Charizard, the first edition Shadowless Charizard from when we were a kid, like as a perfect grade, it's like $150,000-$200,000 card. Like literally costs more than most of houses that people that are our age, I'm sure.
Man, if you were a kid then and you somehow found that card, you just went to Toys R Us and you bought a pack of cards and you ended up getting that. Imagine that. You could buy a damn house.
Imagine being a kid who put one of those in your bike and used it to sound like you were cool.
Oh man.
Some kid drew on their Charizard with a Sharpie, and they look at it every day like, dude, I should I don't know. It's just,
dude.
I think all my shit got sold in the yard sale. I don't have any of my Pokemon cards when I was a kid, and all my shit I've recollected later in life after I figured out like there was value in it. Bought people's collections and stuff like that, but like all my actual stuff from a kid got yard saled off, and like I don't even know what all I had. I know some stuff, but that shit is sickening to think about.
Did you ever play the games?
Oh yeah,
the Game Boy, man, I love those games.
Yeah, I mean blue, silver, all the way up through like the DS ones. I played most of the Pokemon ones, but card game wise in real life, Yu-Gi-Oh at Books A Million on Saturdays.
I remember that as a kid. I never went, but I always remember that. And I also remember at Toys R Us, they would have like a Pokemon thing there. It was like a Friday night, Saturday night thing. People they go there and battle on with cards and stuff like that. Yeah, they did that at Toys R Us. But I do remember at Books A Million.
Yeah.
With the Yu-Gi-Oh.
At Books A Million, we were in there with the dual disc on, like putting the shit in there. That shit was awesome.
Did you ever win?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a tournament type thing. It was like everybody. The way it worked is you had these books, and you go in there and play on Saturdays. And every time you won a duel, you go to like the duel master guy, and he gives you a stamp. And if you filled up your stamps, like all these different ways you had to win, then you got like a free promo card. It was like some rare exclusive, Yu-Gi-Oh members only, whatever the fuck card. And like, so I mean, I got some wins, but I never got one of the promos because you had to do crazy shit. And like, kids would be lying their ass off saying they did this shit. I'm like, I ain't fucking saying I did that. Like, you didn't.
Well, I never mess with Yu-Gi-Oh. I couldn't tell you anything about it, but I do remember a lot of people did play it, especially like middle school. It was around that time. Because you would have graduated what years you graduated? 09. So I was 2010. So yeah. So yeah, it was around the same time. But yeah, I remember that a lot in middle school. People would play that.
Yeah, that shit was popular, man. And Pokemon cards were a little too kiddie and easy, but like Yu-Gi-Oh was a little just strategic enough to like be engaging at that age. Like it was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, but that market, I mean, there's even collectibles of like Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon cards, Magic the Gathering, Garbage Pail Kids, all that. There's money in all those cards, just certain ones.
Digimon was weird. Like I remember watching it. I went through like a little Digimon phase. I was like, fuck Pokemon. Going through like a little Digimon phase. And I even had like there was a game for like the PS1.
Yeah, Digimon World.
Digimon World. Yeah,
that was the first place like I think I ever saw emojis because they would come up over the Digimon's heads. They got a shit. You see a little shit emoji. Like, oh god, get them to the bathroom before they eat their own shit and become a new Numamon. Then you got to like get it back to the egg and start all over. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was weird, man. The first the season, like the TV show itself, wasn't bad.
No, it was awesome. I love that they could actually speak English. I hated that Pokemon always said their own names. That was the only part of Pokemon I always thought was stupid as fuck. Yeah. Pika Pika. Boba. Mama.
Yeah, dude, but I would say, man, Pokemon's probably the best out of my opinion, out of Digimon and all that, I had the most fun with Pokemon though.
Yeah,
I never played the card game, but I was all man. That Game Boy game, I play all day.
Oh yeah, like the game, the handheld Pokemon games, like untouchable. Like Digimon, nothing else comes close to them. I had a toy Digivice as a kid, walked around. It was basically a glorified Tamagotchi. It wasn't shit. It was fucking lame. Like Pokemon, untouchable. It's like one of the funnest games of all time. Like they gave you everything. They gave you the ability to collect and like be a unique person with your like unique team and your own team, and they gave you like action. So you could like fight, you could battle, you had puzzles, you had fucking like, I mean, there's everything. It's the creme de la creme of mobile video games. Like, there's nothing better than Pokemon. Like,
No, I mean it's
it's got to be the most selling handheld game of all time. Like, there's no franchise handheld wise that's sold more than Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. I mean, Pokemon itself, I think it's up there like Star Wars, as in all series wise, and there's some other stuff out there too. But yeah, Pokemon's up there.
Dude, imagine making up a bunch of animals and then like you're just like $100 million, $200 million. Who knows how much the guy who made Pokemon owns, but like, or how much money he's got. But like, you literally just made up some, like SpongeBob. I think about that so much. Like, someone just like thought of like, what if this sponge lives in like a pineapple, bro? And he like had a best friend who was like a starfish, like
living on a rock.
And now they're like sitting on a super yacht somewhere with like $100 million in the bank. Like,
I mean, did you ever play Pokemon Go? I mean, Pokemon Go was...
Dude, that summer that Pokemon Go came out was one of the most epic summers of my life. Like, I remember going to the Capitol, like, there's 50 people at the Capitol walking around, fucking with their phones out, swiping and shit. It's like...
I remember that.
That brought people together more than anything. Like, that was a great... Now, do I play it now? No, I don't keep up with it at all. But, like, that first summer it dropped, I was out there... I mean, there'd be 8 people standing around this one statue at the Capitol, and it's a gym, and they're all fighting for it over and over and over, just like trying to take it over and like walking laps around the Capitol to hit all the Pokestops and get all the fucking free shit. Like,
dude, they would. Some people would actually be driving down the road, and a fucking Charizard would come out, and they'd fucking hit the fucking brake. Fucking pull off the side of the road trying to capture a fucking Charizard and shit.
I remember there was a news story about some kid who fell off a cliff. He was like playing Pokemon Go,
I heard about that.
Yeah, like literally just.
I mean, imagine that, dude. You're sitting there on your phone, you're looking for a fucking Pokemon, and the next thing you know, you're going off a fucking cliff. Imagine on the way down.
Like you like still trying to catch it. I'm gonna die with this fucking Rhydon or whatever it is.
Fuck that.
Yeah, man, that's just great.
Yeah, that was fun, man. I remember that. But before you get off here, UFC 263 this weekend. Who do you got?
Bottom up, I think Bilal Muhammad probably. I mean, it's pretty tough with Damian Maia. You never really know which Damian Maia you're going to get. But I think Bilal has a lot to prove after that eye poke. And I think he's like on the upward trajectory where Damian's just kind of like a gatekeeper. Probably Bilal if I had to pick that one. I don't remember any fights under that. But above that, I would love to see Nate Diaz beat Leon. Like, I don't think he's going to. Like, you haven't seen him since he lost to Masvidal. And, like, I know Nate can fight. I know he's not going to give up. I know he's got the cardio. I know he's got the skill. But I worry about his fucking face. Every time this man gets tagged a couple times, he starts leaking. Like, under his eyes is all scar tissue. Over his eyes is all scar tissue. It's all just, like, fragile. And I just worry, like, him getting cut up and busted up. I don't know. Like, Leon's no slouch, and he's going to be hard to stop. And Nate don't really knock people out. And he's going to have cardio. So I feel like it's going to be a long-ass war. Nate's going to get busted up. I just hope he can pull a vision. Either submission or... I don't know, outlast him, whatever, but I would love to see Nate win. But if I had to pick gun to my head, I'm taking Leon. Figgy and Moreno, I'll take Figgy. I think Moreno's super tough. I think he's really good, but I think it'll be pretty much the same as last time. I think they'll have a war, and Figgy will just get the best of them slightly. Like, I think it's pretty damn 50-50 on them two. And I'll take Izzy over Vettori. I think Vettori's... He's just washed, but he ain't got it. Like he can wrestle a little bit, but like who does he really beat? he's getting a title shot off of beating short notice Kevin Holland coming off a loss. Think about that. You beat a guy who just lost 2 weeks ago, didn't even have time to get ready for your ass, and you beat him doing the same thing you just saw him lose to 2 weeks ago. It's not like you did anything like special. Any Joe Schmo wrestler could have exposed those weaknesses that just got pointed out in his game that he didn't have time to fix, and you didn't finish him or do nothing with him. You know what I mean? So like, to me, you have to beat the champ to take the championship. So if Vettori goes in there with a little bullshit ass wrestling and tries to like lay and pray and get a decision type shit like the first fight, like he's gonna lose again. Even they're not gonna give the title to an unpromotable orc like Martin Vettori when they have Izzy with the title. So if it goes to decision, I don't care if he dominated him every round. Izzy's gonna retain it. Like I just don't think any way Vettori wins. Like I don't think he can stop him. I don't think he can sub him. And as a decision, he would have to absolutely like Habib dominate Izzy. I don't think he can do that. So I see no way that Vettori can win.
So you don't want to parlay? You gonna wait a little bit?
I'll have a couple bets. Yeah, I always end up like I'll do like a $5 parlay. I'll throw a little $5 action on Izzy knocking out Vettori specifically by finish or whatever. I might try to pick around. It depends on what the odds are. I gotta look, but yeah, I always fuck around, throw 50 on the fight and throw probably like 30 to 40 on bets in different ways and try to like pay for the pay-per-view. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't.
The McGregor, dude.
I pay for the pay-per-view and I paid out of pocket for a lot of fucking shit.
I think you said something because Cody told me he's like Justin was like, yeah, don't worry, McGregor paid for it or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They're like, how much are you for the pay-per-view? I'm like, don't worry about it, McGregor's paying for it.
Yeah. Like what was it? Yeah, man, I remember after McGregor lost, there's a lot of sad people in that house. I think there was only maybe like 2 people. Did Aaron?
Like Nick and no, not Aaron. Buckaloo and somebody was happy. Maybe it might have been Rollins.
No, Rollins was for McGregor. Yeah, he wanted.
Maybe it was Cavi or something. Joey Cavender, the guy.
Yeah, I think it was one of those 2. Yeah, man. There was everybody else. I was in shock. I was like, damn. Like, I don't think you said a word. The rest, I was like, all right.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm going to bed.
But yeah, man, I might bet, man. But every time I bet, I always lose it. So I might. I don't know.
To me, it's like I don't mind throwing a little bit of money on stuff because it adds to it.
It does add to the excitement of it. I probably will. I'm going to say right now is on a Tuesday. We record today. By Saturday, I probably will.
Yeah. Like if I would do that, like if I could go to the movies and bet who's going to win, like the good guy or the bad guy, or if this chick's going to date this guy, I would bet at the movies. I bet wherever. That shit is fun. It makes life funner to have a little. Don't bet responsibly when watching this. Don't bet with money you don't have. Don't bet on fights when you haven't paid your rent yet. Don't be fucking stupid. But when you got extra money, if your decision is play with AMC stock or throw 5 on some fights and try to double up and then put that in AMC stock, you got to play with your money a little bit. Don't just let that shit sit in a savings account for some bank to give you 1% interest on while they take your money and bet on fights and buy AMC stock and make hundreds of thousands off your money that's sitting there while they're giving you pennies on the dollar what they're making. Like, people got to monetize your own money. Make your money make money for you, even if you lose a little bit here and there. Like,
yeah, you can earn it back.
Scared money don't make no money.
You got to risk it to get the biscuits.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I do want to thank you for coming on. I had a blast. You can come on anytime. We'll finish this conversation about space and fucking aliens and whatever comes up next. But hey, good. I appreciate you coming on. What were you saying?
I'll have to learn some new theories. I'm going to have to read up on the Cold War theory and all that and get sharper on it so we can really deep dive.
Listen, next time you come on, we'll go straight Cold War.
Alien special, Cold War special.
Yeah, we'll pull a straight Cold War special. We'll pull on all the stops. We'll go from there with it.
We might have to do a 3-person one, bring in a specialist or something on here. That'd be hilarious. Like, imagine like some like archaeologist. Oh shit. No. But yeah, I'm definitely down.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it though. I'll probably see you soon. So, all right, man.
All right, bro. Later, man.